you want some Smarties, mate?
Yes, please. I'll take that red one.
Yeah, go on. If you can actually make that work, go on, show us some magic. Nice, eh?
Chocolate tastes weird from the UK.
What do you mean
weird.
It tastes weird?
Tastes
There's
different.
no shrimp in it.
That's your one Australia joke.
I have more. I have, Australian money's not real money. You guys drive upside down. I've had a lot of them,
No, those aren't jokes. Those are facts.
Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, the show where two YouTubers get together and talk about Doctor Who. I'm one of your hosts, Troy, also known as Red Arch Live, or should I say the Cosmic Vortex for the YouTube channel for
Nice.
Doctor Who. That really rolled off the tongue, that didn't it? That was a great explanation.
Yeah, that was really good.
And with me, we're just going to roll with it, is my co-host, the man who doesn't know how to wear headphones properly. It's Crispy Pro. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I don't think you know this about us Australians, but we actually have a third ear right here. So I have the choice. I can
it's
either
upside
wear
down
it,
as well, isn't it?
Wear it on my third ear. Yeah, well, it is upside down. We are in Australia. So I can either wear it here or wear it here. I can hear you just fine.
Wear it on the other ear. There you go. You told me that you left an ear free, so if you've got 3 ears, you can put it on the front one and you'd be fine.
No,
you'd be able to hear yourself still.
The back one really likes it. The back one really prefers
Oh, okay.
it, actually.
Does it really like it?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't decide between the headphone joke or the fact that you've now become a Pale Waves fan in the last 10 minutes.
Well, look, that song changed my life.
Very nice.
Pun
the song was
intended.
called Change for everyone who didn't get the joke there.
That was good.
No, I was telling him because their third album is going to be released soon, in inverted commas. I don't know when. At the time we're recording this, it's the Monday. We're recording early this week because of the news that happened at the weekend. But their first single from the new album comes out tonight, so I was just sharing my excitement with Crispy here.
Yeah,
and he kind of
really
rolled his eyes.
is the biggest news of the week. Hey, we gotta
that's
get
the
Pale
biggest
Waves
news
out
of the week.
first.
The biggest news of the week.
Yeah,
That is the reason that our entire podcast plan has been messed up. Our podcast with a plan, those 9 episodes we planned out, they have been completely shifted.
Throw
They're
it in the
gone.
bin.
The reason being, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have a very special episode today because out of absolutely nowhere, we now know the identity of the 14th Doctor. Ncuti Gatwa is the next Doctor. Officially confirmed. There's so much to talk about. Sam, let's do a bit of housekeeping, more friend. I don't know why I'm going South African.
No, please do some
we're gonna
housekeeping,
go
my
through
boy.
The poll. We can't touch the Q&A because, as you know, last week we said the plan for this episode was going to be our favourite episodes of Doctor Who, which is still an episode we're very excited to do, but now we won't be able to do for a couple more weeks because we booked our special first guest next week, who we'll reveal at the end of the show, just for a bit of excitement, to build it up a little bit.
Yes.
But we don't want to screw him over and kind of, rebook because of the news that's happened, so we're going to keep that episode with him next week, and then the week after will be our favourite episode of Doctor Who. So it's been shifted around a little bit. Don't worry, we've still got all your responses. A lot of you have given a lot of really good episodes to talk about. And if you want to give us more in the meantime, feel free to do so. Let us know your favourite episodes and why. But that'll be in 2 weeks' time. Next week's a special guest. Today, we're just going to spend the episode talking about all the news. All the 14th Doctor stuff. And also the new details on the Centenary that were kind of slid out into the public under the radar. Not many people even noticed it.
About it.
So we're going to try and talk about everything and just kind of give a few more informed predictions now on what's going to happen in 2022/2023 with the transition, the handover, and what we think is going to happen generally. Just kind of a more updated discussion about all of that stuff based on the news we have now, because there's a lot of news, isn't there? It's very cool.
I don't know. Well, it's very unexpected. And I was literally just, as you were saying that, going through our text thread from yesterday. And you were like, Christy, 14. I think we know who it is. And you sent me that really cryptic, 2 heart emojis and the blue box. And I'm like, What are you on about? This is not how they are going to announce the next Doctor. And you're like, no, I think it is. I think it's happening. I'm like, what? What are you on about? Surely it's like a companion or something, or they're involved with the 60th. And you're like, no, I'm pretty sure something's happening. Something's brewing. And I was like, for sure. Here's me getting ready for bed. I'm like, come on, nothing's going to happen today. Maybe something. We
can tell the full story there. We can tell the full story. And also, you probably didn't believe me after the prank I pulled on you last time.
What was the prank you pulled on me last time?
Oh, well, I'll remind you in a minute. But let's look at the poll first. Let's look at the poll.
Please.
So last week I asked you all, do you ever refer to Doctor Who as Docky Who? Because Crispy Pro referred to it as such, and I don't really like that term. It's not really something I enjoy. You want to use it, fair enough. But interestingly, the poll is very, very well split.
Oh my gosh,
You've got the same amount
exciting.
of people voting all the time and never, ever, ever, and a little bit more in the middle on sometimes. So here are your stats. The options were, as I've said, all the time, sometimes, and never, never, ever, ever. I know where my vote would go. And because we're recording this on the Monday, it's a little bit early, but we've still got 17 votes, which is brilliant, so thank you all for voting. But we've got 29% say all the time, as the same for never, never, ever, ever, 29% for that as well, but 41% say sometimes. So you got it like it's a proper little distribution. You know what I'm saying, Matt? A normal distribution. I'm making use of the degree that I'm not going to probably use in any other practical way. Matt, the guy who wants to going into radio, got a maths degree. Do you think I'd be good in radio, Crispy?
You've never told me you wanted to go into radio. Yeah, 100%.
I never told you this.
You talk.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking
way
about.
Too
exactly.
much.
I can't
never
shut
know when
up.
to
I
shut
like
up,
music.
Mate.
I host 2 different podcasts. I feel like it'd be a great fit. You know what I mean?
Feel like
I think I'd work.
mate, you've already got your resume sorted.
Exactly.
I'll be your reference.
Yeah, you be my reference.
Yeah.
It'll be great. It'll be great. So what we're going to do is, for this week's poll, just purely out of interest, Crispy doesn't even know. I like how I plan these without even telling him. And, he could disagree.
I'm excited. I'm here.
I want to know, out of our listeners, how many of you have actually seen Sex Education? Beyond a couple of clips.
Question.
Like, who has actually watched the show?
Brilliant question.
So, just going to be a yes or no if you've seen one episode or more of the show, so enough to kind of see a bit of Ncuti, if not more, then vote yes. If you haven't, vote no, obviously. I'm interested to know, because, Crispy, have you seen Sex Education?
On that poll, I am voting no. I think I've seen about 20 minutes.
I like how you had to specify on that poll. You really don't want me to make any kind of jokes out of that, do you?
What?
You've never had any sex education, do you know what I mean?
Troy, ladies and gentlemen, get this man
funny.
on radio.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Radio.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you. Oh, I'm so funny.
Troy, have you had any sex education? I mean, have you seen any sex education?
Yes.
You have seen sex education?
I saw a clip.
You saw a clip.
I haven't seen the full episode. I'm gonna watch it very soon. Like, I've seen a few clips bouncing around on Twitter since the announcement. I'm like, this is a show I would honestly enjoy.
Yeah, it does look very funny.
There was a line from Ncuti, something along the lines of, he looks out of a window and he's like, the hottest boy ever just walked past me and you missed it because you were busy looking at chlamydia or something like that. And it was such a well delivered line, and I was like, what? It genuinely caught me off guard. So we need to watch that. So yeah, vote in the poll below. Let us know, because I'm interested to know how many people in the Doctor Who sphere that listen to our podcast have seen Sex Education. Because the interesting thing, I think, or one of the interesting things, is that obviously when you cast a new Doctor, it's all about bringing someone that keeps the fan base interested and looking forward to seeing the next Doctor, but also appealing to new people. Like, as a good way for people to jump on. And Sex Education is huge. It's like one of the biggest shows on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. So there's a huge group of people who are probably going to check out Doctor Who now because one of the main stars of Sex Education is the next Doctor. Yeah, that Twitter interaction.
Can I just slide in there? Someone was tweeting today being like, oh, search up the phrase, watch Doctor Who now. Search that up on Twitter and you just see heaps of people being like, oh, I guess I got to watch Doctor Who now. Guess I'm 100% in. And there's been some viral tweets going around, like some viral tweets going around with the sheer excitement that Ncuti is now our Doctor. And that's not something I really expected. And I'm pretty sure this is the first Doctor we've had that was born in the wilderness years. So it's going to be a very youthful presence, a very fun presence, and a very welcome presence, I think. And as always, in Russell we trust. Absolutely.
I guess I watch Doctor Who now. What else have we got? I'm just looking through all them. I actually watch the new Doctor Who stuff now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that.
There's a lot. There's a couple of people who are being very disrespectful about the casting, but we knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can get into that this episode because it was bound to happen no matter what happens, but...
exactly. But anyway. So, let's begin. I don't even know where to start. We've got to talk about how it was announced.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
The stuff that came out afterwards. So we start about how it was announced.
Of course.
Okay, so... For context, the prank I mentioned earlier, it wasn't even a prank so much as just there was a lot of stuff going around about the next Doctor having been cast. Most of it came from when Russell was on his little Instagram binge, where every time someone left a comment, regardless of what it said, he always liked it. And someone commented on a post from him, and it said, like this if the next Doctor has been cast. and he liked the comment. So I messaged Crispy, and I was like, the next Doctor's been cast.
Oh, yeah.
And he was sat there going, what? So this man set up like a temporary setup in his house. I don't even know why he didn't do it in his room, but that's... Oh, well, you were moving house at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, it was like... Yeah. There was a lot going on in my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, if this is happening, I need to make a video ASAP.
Like poor
okay.
Mr. TARDIS.
Battle station. Yeah, like Mr. TARDIS on his honeymoon right now,
Poor
the poor
Mr.
bastard.
TARDIS is on his honeymoon, and the news drop. I feel so bad for him. Bless his heart. Like the one week he can't do a stream to talk about the news. Oh, good grief. But yeah, so like there's just a video. He put it on his channel. Watch Crispy's video. He put a video where he was like, "How are you guys doing?" Like looking through trying to find the news, and he couldn't find it. And he was like, "Oh, it means he's been cast, but we don't know who it is. Yeah, we don't know who the Doctor.
That was months ago. Was that in February?
That might have been around February, which would make sense because during the BAFTA's red carpet, they confirmed that Ncuti has been cast since February.
Which is a very well kept secret. Oh, like props to them. We did not once see Ncuti on like any what do you call it? The polls. What do you bet? What do you call that? I don't even know.
23rd of February 2022 was the day you uploaded that video. So February.
Way. Oh my god. So maybe
he actually genuinely was being serious in that comment. Maybe he genuinely did like it because the next Doctor had been cast.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
That is wild.
Maybe we are finger on the pulse. Good on us.
Genuinely. So, what do you think? Well, let's explain. Let's recap for everybody who might not know how it all worked. So on the Sunday, early in the morning in the UK, about 11 o'clock, I think it was, half 11, 12, something around that time, Ncuti put a post up on Instagram, blank page, 2 heart emojis, plus a blue square, or as we would say, a blue box. And right underneath it, Mr. T Davies of the Russell commented, "The future is here."
Yeah.
And obviously that sent everybody into a frenzy. What was your first thought when you saw it?
Well, you send it to me, and this is like, I've just finished up Mother's Day. You know, I've had a lovely day with my family. I made pancakes for everyone. You know, I'm a very wholesome son. So I come back here. I'm like, wow, what an excellent weekend. Let me, zhuzh up my room. You know, I've just had a shower. I'm like, all right, time to just relax. I'm going to put some Doctor Who on my projector and just chillax the heck out. And then I get this message from Troy saying 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, what are you on about? This is going to be the same thing as last time. Russell's just liked a freaking Instagram, and then, you're like, oh, I think I know who it is. And there's just these weird little cryptic emojis. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know. My message to you was like, it feels Doctor Who related, but you're like, no, this is happening. This is absolutely happening. But just because it was an Instagram post, like, Ncuti didn't caption it or anything. The only comment was Russell's one that he pinned, "The future is here." So I was like, okay, whatever. And then we wait half an hour, and I'm just like in my pajamas refreshing the official Doctor Who Twitter, and then I just see the post. I'm like, okay, well, time to turn the ring light on and make some content.
What was so funny about that was this man here was so worried he'd go to sleep and miss the news.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I went, turn your phone sound up, and what I'll do is you go to sleep, and if I hear anything, I will ring you immediately.
Mm-hmm. We had a whole
what this guy
plan.
does? He suddenly disappears on Discord, the news comes out, he doesn't reply to me for half an hour, and then I see on YouTube Crispy pro-uploaded the video. I was like, you could have at least told me you were recording something. I was sat here trying to get hold of you, man.
It was battle stations, mate. It was battle stations at the ready.
Yeah, it clearly was battle stations. I mean, good grief. I was just like...
But I'm glad I did.
Because one of your top things, and a few people said this on Twitter, was they saw the comment and thought, well, maybe it doesn't mean he's the Doctor. Maybe it just means he's involved with the show. Maybe he's the companion.
Yeah,
but the thing that clinched it for me, which is something I talked about in my video, because I made a 14th Doctor video as well. It's not going off nearly as much as yours is. You got 20k views on yours in like 12 hours or something.
Yeah.
Or 24 hours nearly, I don't know.
We're doing well. We're doing very well.
Yeah. Well, mine's doing really well, to be fair, as well, considering I have like 372 subs or something. I think I've got like 350 views in it or something on the first day.
That's sensational.
And the Centenary video did well, so I'm like happy about that. Feel free to go and subscribe to my Doctor Who channel, The Cosmic Vortex.
He's gonna be a Whotuber. He's gonna be a Whotuber. He's trying.
Crispy here has like 23 subs on that channel, and I've only got 300. So I have to catch up a little bit. I have to catch up a tiny bit. So thank you. But no, seriously. So I put that video up, and that did really well. But like I remember seeing the news. The first thing I thought when I saw the Instagram was like, let's look through this guy's Instagram. Let's have a look, because I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. Much like Crispy, I didn't even know how to pronounce his name, unfortunately.
Yeah, I butchered it.
Much more
it's gonna live on
fortunately,
forever.
unlike Crispy, I didn't mispronounce it with a camera turned on, so no one will ever hear me. Well, I mean, I pretty much said the same thing you did, but you were like, no, I'm gonna try and pronounce this on the video and hope that I got it right, and you just didn't get it right at all.
Absolutely failed, but that's all right. It's not like anyone has seen the video and will continue to live on my channel.
But I basically, all I did was I went, right, let's scroll through his Instagram. Let's have a look and see what he's like, because I don't know who this guy is, and let's see if I get a vibe. Within about 10 seconds, I got the vibe. I was looking at his outfits and going,
an absolute vibe.
I can see it. Like, there was an energy to him in, like, his post, and I was like, oh, I see what Russell's seeing here. And I was immediately like, I'm on board. So everyone was going, oh, maybe this guy's the companion. I was thinking, no. Russell T Davies has commented the future is here. Would he really put that on the companion's post?
And would they announce the companion before the Doctor? Probably
and also,
not, but I was like,
the future is here as well. Like, you think about it, that's a symbol that something new is afoot, right? So something that's different. We've had black male companions before. That was the other thing that sold me. I was like, well, it's not really the future per se. It's obviously great for inclusivity and all that, but it's not something new for Doctor Who, because we've had Mickey and we've had Ryan. So, like, it's not new to have a male companion. Perhaps the LGBT side, that would still be the future is here, fair enough. But I just, in my head, I was thinking, that's not enough. I think this is the Doctor. I was like, I think we really are about to hear that he's the 14th Doctor. And lo and behold, the Doctor Who account tweeted about half an hour later, 40 minutes later,
it was
Ncuti
literally,
Gatwa is taking over Jodie Whittaker as the 14th Doctor.
Could not believe it. Genuinely. I was like, oh, they're going for it. They're really going for it.
Now, I've heard a few things about this, and I want to know your thoughts. I am wondering if this was about to get leaked and they've pushed it out early. Because I've got to be honest with you, I don't know how you feel about it. Well, actually, I have a bit of an idea already. Out of the most recent Doctor announcements, like if we compare... I'm not going to count David and Matt's for the minute. We'll talk about those separately in a moment. But if you compare Peter, Jodie, and Ncuti, Ncuti's is by far my least favourite announcement.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
Because... like, the thing is, for context, let's recap how they all went for everyone, just very briefly, so everyone gets an idea. And again, I recommend that channel. I talked about the Doctor Who documentary channel, the clever D Films. I probably could literally just say the name, but I'm really dancing around it. He explains in the Christopher Eccleston episode in that documentary that Christopher said he was leaving after the first series. He said he'd keep quiet and he'd carry the story. You know, he'd just kind of go along with it, promote the show. It got dropped by the BBC out of nowhere that he was leaving, and after that, it starts to leak out that David Tennant was going to be taking over at the same time. So the BBC very unceremoniously just put a post out and went, David Tennant's taking over Christopher Eccleston. And so people knew about halfway through series 1. So it was very unceremonious, very kind of like, we're just getting used to Christopher Eccleston, what's going on here?
What's happening,
and really, really like tragic. So out of all of them, that was probably the worst one, in fairness.
Absolutely, yeah.
At the time for everything going on, but neither of us were following Doctor Who for that, so we don't have that personal experience.
We didn't live through
also,
that,
at that point, I would have been 6 years old.
Yeah.
5 years old. Hang on, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I would have been 6. I would have been... No.
I was about 19 at the time.
5 or 6. Yeah, because you're really old.
I'm so old.
Matt Smith, I forget this, but Matt Smith was just dropped very, very, again, unceremoniously at the end of a Doctor Who Confidential episode. Which, if you don't know what Doctor Who Confidential is, it used to be this show that would go behind the scenes of every Doctor Who episode, talk to the cast and crew and the people behind it and like how they made an episode. Used to be as long as an episode of Doctor Who, which was brilliant. Then they made confidential cut downs that reduced it to 15 minutes. Then that became the standard length. Then they made it Doctor Who Extra for a little bit, and then they just binned it off, which is a shame because it was a really interesting show.
Russell,
I really hope they bring that back. Yeah, bring it back. But it was during... I don't know which episode it was. Was it the end of time? No, it couldn't have been the end of time. I don't know which episode of Doctor Who.
I think it might have been like a special like release or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was like part of the it was part of the Doctor Who brand.
It
like
might
Doctor
have
Who
been,
Confidential brand, but I don't know if it was tied necessarily to a specific episode.
But during the episode, they didn't act like tease they were leading up to it. It was just all of a sudden,
it's just gonna happen.
Chitty Boy was on the screen, and he was like, "I haven't slept," and everyone's like, what? And then it comes on screen, Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, and you're like, what? Like, they was really, again, unceremonious, but I kind of like the way they did that, because it was quite subtle, it was quite cool, and I barely remember it happening, but I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. Peter Capaldi got,
oh my goodness,
arguably the best one. It's difficult. He had a live show dedicated to who the next Doctor was, looking back on like the whole modern run of Doctor Who and teasing, building up to it, the actors being like, I know who it is, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love the interview with Matt Smith, where he's like, if I would pick anyone, I'd pick him.
It'd be him.
And all the stuff about that. And then Peter Capaldi was revealed live on TV. They got live reactions from like Twitter and stuff. It was brilliant. And then Jodie Whittaker, they announced a couple of days ahead that she was going to be revealed during the Wimbledon men's final. There was a little promotional thing like 13 is coming. I loved that. And then
we had to watch
13 reveal
sports.
happened. Yeah, and it was great. We had to watch tennis.
Uh-huh.
Like, we had to watch tennis. It was a crazy time. And I really liked that reveal because there was a bit of hype, bit of build-up, and they were trying to tease it was something new, and obviously, as we know, it was something completely different.
Yes.
And then Ncuti put up an Instagram post, and BBC went, Doctor Who, next Doctor is Ncuti Gatwa.
And we're like, oh.
Do you see what we're talking about now?
Yeah.
Like, there
It's
are
just very
arguments, and
strange.
I've seen a lot of people, I don't know about you, I've seen a lot of people commenting, saying, I like this, I prefer it. It's subtle, it's again, very unceremonious, but it fits like some of the previous casting announcements where it's very much just like a back burner. We're going to put it out there and say, there's the next Doctor,
This
and
is
we move
happening.
on. You know, how do you prefer it? Do you prefer it being a big bombastic thing, or do you like it being more subtle?
Well, look, purely from an Australian standpoint, you know, I would have liked to have known, being like, oh, we're going to make an announcement on this date so I can kind of move my schedule or stay up until, 3 a.m. if I need to.
It has to be selfish, doesn't it? Oh, God.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. I don't want to be asleep when these things are happening, which
The
is why I was
world
going to get you
doesn't
to call me.
revolve around you, Crispy
Oh,
Pro.
no, but it revolves around Doctor Who and I revolve around it.
Said.
Yeah, thank you. But I don't know. I don't know how I necessarily feel about this. Like, it does feel a bit underwhelming. Like, the whole... Like, I mean, I'm all for Ncuti, absolutely. But just the fact that there was no build-up. But when you're going to say just before that, the theory, the reason behind why they might have done something like this is because it was going to leak about Ncuti's casting. Yeah, do you know... What have you heard about that?
Nothing that suggests that was actually the case.
Yeah.
I wonder because there were loads of like people saying that there was going to be something at the BAFTAs to mention it. Like that TV Zone account that we've seen on Twitter, if you follow the Twitter news at all, TV Zone are an account that have been kind of like saying, we've got the odd bit of Doctor Who news coming at midnight, and there'll be like some teasers from Flux, something like that. They've become quite known like among the Doctor Who community on Twitter, the tight-knit Doctor Who like stan community almost, that like they'll tweet out big news, to the point where sometimes they'll go, news at midnight, and then they have to now say it's not Doctor Who related.
Yeah.
And they said something on the lines of, there'll be something at the BAFTAs. And everyone kind of went, that makes sense. You know, Ncuti's up for an award at the BAFTAs. Russell will be there because It's a Sin has 11 nominations for the BAFTAs. Didn't win a single one. Very angry about that. We'll get to that later.
We're going to talk about that, yeah, 100%.
There's more to that is not good, but we'll get there. But they were all going to be there, and then they put that tweet out saying there was going to be something. I wonder if they had the initial plan to reveal the next Doctor at the BAFTAs while something was going on, because Ncuti presented an award. Maybe while he was presenting one, he could have called Russell up and just gone, we've got something we want to tell you. I'm the Doctor. And that would have been like, it would have caught everyone off guard. That would have been fantastic. I wonder if that was about to get out, and the BBC went, Ncuti, post something right now. We're going to get the press release rushed ahead, get something put out, we'll put something up for half an hour later. And it really screams of that to me. It screams of that.
That we could just be madly theorizing here, but you
100%.
You have an awards show, and Russell's done big announcements at the award shows, much like David Tennant's departure back in 2008 when he announced that.
And by the way, brave play. I love the bravery to come out and take an award for what will probably always be his most iconic role, and be like, thank you, I love your support, I love the show, but I'm leaving.
By the way,
that was brave.
See you later.
That was brave. All the respect in the world to him. That was crazy.
Yeah, but they've never done that with like a Doctor announcement, and we've had as you were saying, like various different methods as to how they could like try and experiment with the announcement, and this would have been a really, really cool way to do it. But I really do get the sense that they were like, we need to get ahead of the press. We need to get this done early, because what time was it announced for you? What time, like UK time?
I think it was 12:30 in the afternoon.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
like a midday thing.
12:30 is very strange.
Like, I don't know. We're just theorizing here, but I think we're onto something.
I would have loved to have seen a teaser at 2 p.m. Otherwise known as 1400 hours. Or 1414. Been like, keep an eye on the BAFTAs tonight. And something like that. They could have teased that, and wouldn't have been 2 days notice like it was with Jodie, but it would have been a bit of a tease. Yeah. It just feels like, for a show like Doctor Who, that is so world-renowned, regardless of whatever you say, the viewing figures are down, Doctor Who is a world-renowned thing. Like, everybody has at least heard of Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
Even people on Twitter who thought that Doctor Who was a medical drama. I saw one tweet that was dead funny that was like, people keep telling me to watch Doctor Who and Grey's Anatomy. I don't want everything to be hospital dramas. And someone replied, sweetie, it's not a hospital drama.
Do you not know what Doctor Who
I love
is?
that. Well, everyone has heard of Doctor Who. Everyone
Yeah.
even knows the name or has seen the
massive
Dalek
brand.
or knows about Matt Smith or something like that.
Or a
Do you know what I mean?
weeping angel.
People know. Yeah, anything like that. So, Doctor Who is very much... victim is not the right word, but it's a victim of its own success where everybody knows the brand and they ride into that, especially more recently. They try and push things as best they can. They want to do these big press releases because they know every time there's a new Doctor, it's going to be a talking point for a long period of time. And that's why I think for 12 and 13, they really went, you know what, let's really push this. Let's get people talking. You've had the argument that a social media post is enough these days to do marketing. Well, they literally did a social media reveal for 13. They put it at the same time as TV, but they properly maximized it and made it a huge announcement.
Yeah.
It feels this time as though it just didn't have that same push that Jodie's had. And this
Not
is another
necessarily.
big monumental casting, you know?
Okay, yeah.
You've gone from the first
absolutely.
female Doctor to the first black LGBTQ plus actor playing the Doctor.
Which is
That's like
massive
it's
feat.
another big thing. And they could really have pushed that a lot more, I feel like, and they didn't.
And they could have.
We could be completely wrong, but I genuinely do feel there is an air of something's about to happen, let's get this pushed out to it.
Yeah.
And I
No,
would have loved to
100%.
watch the BAFTAs. It would have made the BAFTAs a lot more enjoyable because... let me tell you something right now. This is going to get me flamed, I think.
I know exactly
but
what you're
I
gonna
am
say.
so glad Richard Ayoade is not the next Doctor. He did not say a single funny line during
my
that
gosh.
award show.
Move
I
on.
nearly felt as
Move
uncomfortable as I did
on.
watching Rebel Wilson
Move
presenting
on.
whatever award show it was a couple of months ago.
Oh my
Because she
God.
was awful. But he was not funny. And I was like, wow, I'm not trusting Crispy on that. I don't want him as the Doctor. I don't. But
I'm a stan.
he would have made that show. It would have given it something more to it, which would have been great. A nice big push because everyone was going to be watching it anyway because of all the Doctor Who stuff. I was watching it all the way through. Like it was just, I just think it could have been done better. That's me personally.
No,
that's
100%.
me personally. You know,
regardless of how like all that was done and how both you and I feel like it was a little bit underwhelming on the release side of it, it still has made freaking waves. I just saw a tweet before saying that it has hit mainstream news here in Australia. That never happens with Doctor Who. The last time that happened was for the 50th. And so as an Aussie, very, very exciting. You know, I'll be putting a few shrimp on the barbie for that. Absolutely. But in saying that, I really do, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Or like give us a teeny clip. You know, I was theorizing to Troy just before being like, wouldn't it be crazy if at the BAFTAs, you know, Russell gets up talking about It's a Sin or whatever. I don't know. I didn't watch the BAFTAs or whatever. But he's like, oh, I've got something extra for you guys. And then, you know, it's a similar thing to like Jodie's little intro or something like that. I don't know. There was just, it's a big missed opportunity. But regardless, it still has made headlines everywhere. It's trending on Twitter. You type in Ncuti's name and the amount of news articles that boy has got. My goodness, the amount of viral tweets, the amount of viral accounts that posting about this, like it has made headlines. For the first time ever in my life, I had two of my friends that don't watch Doctor Who being like, oh, damn, maybe I'll have to watch Doctor Who now. Cool.
Yes,
awesome.
Get your whole house involved in it. You said no one in your house watches it anymore, do they? Or like some of them used to? Or
No, some of them used to. I'm currently watching with one of my housemates. We started watching because I randomly watched like a Matt Smith episode and we just kept kind of like watching through that. And now we're in series 9 Capaldi. So we've kind of pushed through that a little bit. So I am watching.
So you just didn't watch David Tennant until Christopher Eccleston?
No, we'll just keep going with that. We'll go back. Don't worry.
Good.
I saw an excellent tweet today saying, hey, all these new people coming to Doctor Who, remember the number one rule of Doctor Who rewatches is don't skip 9. That's the number one rule.
And
it
you
fits into
skipped 10.
I skipped 10, all right? Screw it.
That's like the cardinal sin to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, what?
Don't worry.
What?
We do intend to go back.
What? Just like we did there. You know?
Yeah, that was
a
nice.
little. Yeah, it was good.
I watched Voyage of the Damned today. It was good.
Well, there you go. But best Christmas special. Christmas special.
I know. I was thinking of you.
Yeah,
and
thank
Kylie.
you. Thank you.
And the fact that it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
you're
most
always
viewed
thinking of
Doctor Who
Kylie,
episode.
You're always thinking of Kylie.
Always.
She
mate.
haunts your dreams.
No, in the best way possible.
On that note,
Moving on.
So, what do you think about Ncuti then? What are your thoughts on him?
I love it. I mean, as we've discussed, like I've never seen Ncuti in anything before. I looked up a few clips before, a few interviews, just to kind of get a vibe. And apparently, he was born in Scotland. We have our 4th Scottish Doctor.
Was he born in Scotland? I thought he was born in Rwanda.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's a Scottish gentleman.
Yeah, I know he's Rwandan Scottish. I don't know.
There we go.
I think he was born in Rwanda and then moved to Scotland really young.
You probably know more than me, but regardless, I got an excellent vibe
I do my
from
research.
their interviews.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. That's what I heard. Gatwa was born in Rwanda in 1992, and the family later escaped from Rwanda during the Rwandan genocide in 1994 and settled in Scotland.
Oh my gosh.
Heavy subject matter.
What
but
a life.
He was born in Rwanda and moved at the age of 2, or roughly, maybe not even 2. He might have been younger because he was born in October. He could have been 1 and a bit years old. Moved to Scotland. So that's why he's Rwandan Scottish, because he moved there at a very young age.
That's unreal.
And I've seen
I did not know that.
On Twitter saying that like a few years ago, like he wasn't really getting any roles. He was like sharing a bed with a friend in a flat, and he wasn't doing well. Like he was temping at Harrods in London, and everyone was saying he looked like he was really well dressed, but his life was not going well. Like he's been through some really tough stuff.
Oh, I've got so much more respect now for Ncuti.
It's kind of beautiful that he's wound up now as the next Doctor. Like look how far he's come. It's beautiful.
Oh my god!
And as I've said, despite not having seen him much beyond the odd sex education clip, just looking at him, he's got that energy. I think he really can carry the show.
Well, I think it's an excellent choice because they're kind of like at their point in their career where yes, you know, they've had a minor break with a Netflix show and they're a fan favorite cast member in that show, as I've heard. But they're not like so high profile that all of us are like, oh, of course, you know. If it was Hugh Grant or something, we'd be like, oh, okay. Cool. Okay, let's do this thing. But the fact that it's, you know, I want to say relative unknown. I mean, 2.6 million followers, mind you. Like,
no.
The first Doctor with an Instagram.
Legend of the Sea Devils had in its first 24 hours. I'm just saying, you know. Just saying. I'm just saying. If I can pull out one thing though, there's one thing apart from his Instagram that sold me. And I said this in my own video as well. There was one line in his little interview that was put in the announcement that I absolutely love. It might be one of my favourite things I've heard a Doctor actor say when they've come on the show.
Oh, please.
And it was this:
tell me.
Unlike the Doctor, I may only have one heart, but I am giving it all to this show. That line is
nice.
Beautiful, doesn't put it. Like, that is such a lovely way to put it. And you can see from the whole thing, we could read through it all, but there's like a link to the article. Like, he said about how he's, you know, he understands that the show is so important, that it is a British institution, that Russell T Davies is like the man to bring it like to a new era, and that he's so honoured to be a part of it. He gets it, you know? And like he got asked on the red carpet if he was a fan of Doctor Who, and he was like, who isn't? You know, which is beautiful.
So cool. That's so cool.
There's arguments to be made for and against whether people have seen Doctor Who before or not. I know that with Jodie, at one point a narrative was spun that she didn't watch any of Doctor Who because she didn't want to, she couldn't be bothered. Which I heard at one point and thought was real, which was absolutely rubbish, thank goodness. Because it was that Chris Chibnall said to her, don't watch anything. Do not watch Doctor Who. I want your performance to be something completely uninspired by anything before. I want it to be your own thing. But of course, people who didn't like Jodie were like, Jodie didn't watch any Doctor Who before she played the role. Shows how much she cares. Shut up.
My goodness.
Like, it proves that, you know, whether you're a Doctor Who fan or not, you can carry the role. But it is a little bit special when you get someone who comes on who loves the show and understands the weight of it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
100%.
Jodie's proved that you don't have to be fantastic, but the fact that Ncuti already is a really good start. It's a beautiful start.
Well, the fact that they're like a younger actor to be portraying this, like there's just going to be this fresh energy. Like you can feel it's going to be very, very exciting. And from all the stuff I've seen of Sex Education, like Ncuti's performance, I feel is going to be very comedic. And with Russell coming back, I know the type of writing they're going to have in 2023. You can just feel it. It's going to be a complete makeover for the show, but feels so familiar. It's going to be so cool.
Let's talk a little bit more about the news regarding to how it's going to work with Jodie and with Ncuti. So Russell has made it very, very clear from all the interviews
very clear today.
He is going to be as tight-lipped as humanly possible this year. And that next year, he said, literally, you will be sick of us. We won't stop talking. There'll be so much of us from next year.
So excited about all that. And just the amount of respect I have for Russell for saying that right now.
Exactly, because he's got such a love for Jodie. So my question for you is this.
Okay,
you ready for a question, Mr. Pro of Crispy?
I am very ready.
I'm taking a back seat today. I'm just letting you do all the questions. I'm just enjoying putting you on the spot. It's very enjoyable. You know, cheers.
It's been a while since you've interviewed me.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I interviewed you. You know, when was that interview? 2 years ago? You know, how do you feel being put in the hot seat again?
It's fine.
Do you think, and we're going to go back to this debate we've had once before now, do you think that there is going to be an episode of Doctor Who in 2023 prior to the 60th, now that we know the 14th Doctor?
Well, there's been some weird wording even in that press release.
Yes,
Saying,
and not to mention the filming things, because
Yeah.
did we mention it last week? I don't know if we mentioned it last week, but there was some stuff going around. Bad Wolf was sending letters to people saying
they're gonna be filming
next
on
month we're gonna be
streets.
filming a big flagship show on your street in the early hours of the morning, and it was corroborated by a few people that it was Doctor Who. So, there's 2 filming blocks. There's one for a couple of months now, then there's a gap for a few months because Ncuti's filming Sex Education Series 3, which obviously now makes sense for the shooting gap.
Yeah.
Then they're going to carry on. So, I wonder, was there really a need for them to start filming before Sex Education Season 3? Why didn't they just wait until after, if his first episode isn't going to be till November next year anyway?
Oh, look.
Do you see what I mean?
You're making,
I'm making
a lot of good points right
and
now.
I'm thinking, I don't know now. I genuinely don't know. It feels weird that they wouldn't announce that, but they could change their plan and go, it said he's going to return to helm the 60th anniversary in 2023 and
Hang on.
seasons beyond. Did it ever say that was going to be his first episode?
I think season 3 is out of Sex Education. I think they're filming series 4. Just
Oh, is it series 4? Oh,
to
sorry.
fact check that. But anyway, look. Well, I mean, it kind of depends on what we might get an idea of when they're filming. If David Tennant's there, then I'm gonna say 60th.
Crispy, we've been very foolish.
Oh, what? What's wrong?
The article for Russell T Davies never said he was starting with the 60th anniversary. Like, there's probably people out there going, yeah, we know this, but I think you and I both assumed he was going to start with it. The tagline is, Russell T Davies will make an explosive return to screens to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who in 2023 and series beyond.
Yes.
That does not mean the 60th anniversary is his first episode.
Oh, well, I feel like it's heavily implied, but yeah.
It is heavily
Okay.
implied, but it might be that isn't the case. After all that, it might be that is not the case.
Well, a lot of people think if they're filming this early that we're going to get a Christmas special this year.
I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think that either.
I think
but
that
that's
we
been
mentioned
some
previously.
Yeah.
I don't think that because it's too
No.
soon after Jodie, and I think that doesn't really matter per se. But Russell made it clear they're not going to be interrupting her this year.
Yeah.
And I think if they were going to do a Christmas special, they would probably at least tease it before Jodie left. And if he's made it so clear they're not going to tread on Jodie's toes, I don't think that'll be this year, personally.
Okay.
It could be that they pull a New Year special. I mean, we've talked before that Russ Davies wants to go back to Christmas. He loves his cryptic Instagram posts, and he did like a Christmas-themed
He did a Christmassy one.
RTD2 post.
Yeah.
Which hopefully means they're coming back. I've liked the ones at New Year, but I do miss the Christmas special, so I want them back. It was always sad, because I remember hearing that Stephen Moffat kept the Christmas special slot so that Chris Chibnall would have it for Jodie's era. And then Chris Chibnall went, New Year! Let's go New Year instead!
New Year, let's do it.
Which is sad,
well.
but it is what it is. So I wonder about that. I think there could be new episodes in 2023 pre-6th anniversary, and that would then allay our fears of the whole 6th anniversary is very pressurizing for a Doctor to start on. Because he will have had some chance to kick in and have a go. That would make sense.
I don't want Ncuti's first to be the 60th.
Nor me.
Unless Ncuti is like sidelined, like as you kind of discussed, like there's a regeneration in process. Yeah.
Or you give him some episodes first so that you can settle into the role a bit more and then do it. Because it's not even that I think he'll be bad. I just think it's a lot of pressure. Matt Smith was right at the end of his tenure when he did the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Like that, it would have been a lot of pressure if one of the first things he filmed was the 50th anniversary.
But I'm just trying to figure out how it would work, because like you said just before, like imagine a couple of episodes. Okay, would they be little special episodes prior to the 60th, or would it be the start of series 14 and the 60th specials kind of filter through series 14?
Like series 7, part A, part B? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love it if we got a full series next year, but I doubt it. I doubt we're going to get a full series next year.
It's fun to theorize. It is fun to theorize.
It's so much fun to theorize.
I really do hope we get a full series next year, because when you think about it, we're not getting one this year.
No, we're not.
No, I hope that this is to make a new series next year, because one of the only things that I haven't liked about Jodie's era is the time between seasons. I miss there being yearly seasons. We had like late 2018, then start of 2020, then end of 2021. It's been approximately 18 months rounded thereabouts for series every time. I miss it being yearly. I know it's a huge show to pull off, but they've shown they can do it previously. Russell carried it for ages, and Moffat did it to an extent. Yeah, but I think some of his splitting was down to Sherlock, if I remember rightly. Like we had split
there
kind
was
of
major commitments there. But then, in all fairness,
Russell was 100% Doctor Who, so he was just like bashing scripts out like it was nobody's business.
Yeah, but there was a global pandemic for Flux as well, which kind of
that hasn't helped at all. And as Chris Chibnall said in an interview in Doctor Who magazine, that nearly made him quit, which is kind of crazy.
Which is crazy, and I don't blame.
It
Can
is.
you imagine the pressure being one of
I know.
the BBC's flagship shows, and you have to shut down production, you have to rework your scripts, you have to make Legend of the Sea Devils 47 minutes. What are you doing, Chris? But I can imagine that would be very, very stressful. So I don't blame him necessarily for that gap. But I mean, prior to that, we didn't need the year gap between Series 11 and 12. But it is what it is. You know, we can't be too demanding. You know, they do shoot for like 10 months of the year, I'm pretty sure. So it is quite an arduous task.
Yeah, it was 10 months for Series 10, I remember that.
Yeah.
Shoot day 205, Capaldi said at one point when they finished filming Series 10, which is
unreal.
crazy. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off. But the one thing we do know, and it's something that we want to talk about now, I think, for the last section of the podcast.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And then maybe wrap up early. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might be a nice week of editing for me. That'd be quite sweet.
That'd be nice. Get a bit early.
Do you know what? One of these weeks I need to actually not mention editing because I feel like I moan about it too much. It's not really much of a moaning situation. It's just like I'm thinking, how much time is this going to take?
We could Well, actually, just before you get going, you know how I said Paul is actually doing like a degree in film and TV and stuff. We could throw off some editing to him if you wanted to.
He could do some. He could do
You
some.
do a little
maybe
bit.
we should ask him.
All right,
I mean,
we'll hit
he
him
won't
up.
do it, so maybe.
No, you have to.
But yeah, so one thing that was confirmed, hopefully confirmed, and I feel like he wouldn't have a reason to make this up.
No, I think it's confirmed.
During a question about how he feels about Jodie's era and whether they're going to wait to reveal information, all this, Russell T Davies said, and I approximately quote, if I've got it slightly wrong with the wording, then do forgive me, but we said, we've still got one big final episode left for Jodie, 90 minutes long, coming out in October. So unless he's wrong, and he's been told an incorrect thing, then we have got, as Crispy's running off, ladies and gentlemen, we might well have the longest episode of Doctor Who in history, ? Longest singular episode? That's longer than the TV movie.
The longest episode, baby.
Yeah, longer than the TV movie, I'm fairly sure. Wasn't the TV movie like an hour and 20? Something like that?
Something like that. I don't think it hit 90. But yeah.
Yeah.
Go
so
out with
we
a
could
bang,
well
Chris.
have
Do
the
it, mate.
longest episode of Doctor Who in existence on our hands in October. So that might confirm more specifically when it's going to air. Crispy's birthday's in October, so I know he was like, well, I really want it to be on my birthday, mate, but
I don't think
it's
it
early
will be.
October your birthday, isn't it?
Yeah, early. But it will most likely be towards the end, right?
It might be.
Probably.
We don't know.
I don't know. Russell knows.
Russell knows. Ask him. Message him. Russell, g'day, mate. You gonna tell me
Like
when
this Instagram comment if the air date
literally
is
just comment.
towards...
And every single comment is like this comment to the Centenary is coming out on October 1st, October 2nd, October 3rd, and whichever one he likes is the date. Done.
I'll get... Instagram will be like, you can't spam this account. I'll only get up to like October 7th before they say, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
give it
It's
a
just
go.
like all of them. And you'll go, he's going to put 1 minute of the episode across every day in October.
And we have to piece it together.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Centenary is hopefully exactly what we hoped for. Feature length 90 minutes, which means at least 20 minutes can be a Thasmin kiss. So that's great. I'm really excited about that.
That's a very long scene.
That's a very long scene.
That's
it
quite
needs
the
to be,
chunk of this Centenary.
All the sexual tension's got to be fulfilled. We got to get that Thasmin kiss. They should have had it on the beach. Let's make up for the Centenary.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they just start the Centenary and like with this time jump, they're just like already dating?
Even though the episode just opens with them kissing or something.
Oh yeah, just
like a Dalek's going through a corridor, Doctor, and then he goes around the corner and they're just kissing, and then just roll titles.
Zoom in on the Dalek's face.
The Dalek just like the David Tennant goes, what? Explain.
It just writes itself. It
writes itself. We should be showrunners. # Crispy and Troy for showrunner.
Oh, both of us. Joint showrunner. I'll happily have you come along, mate.
Speaking of, I hate to be the Jodie sad person again, but I've just realised, speaking of all that, we're only going to hear Jodie's intro one more time in Doctor Who.
Oh, stop saying things like that.
I love that theme, man. I love
things
it.
like that.
I love it. Especially, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed, but the Flux remix is ever so slightly different.
Oh, really? What do they
the
do?
bass theme. There's like, if you compare it, when it's going dum-da-dum, dum-da-dum, there's like almost like a resonant noise in the background. Now it's like, that was added into the theme. I think a couple of bits are done ever so slightly different. But like, Crispy, I listen to this stuff. I am like such a stickler for this stuff, you know.
I know. I was like, of course you've noticed something like this.
Yeah. So if you go on BBC iPlayer or whatever and you watch say see like Spyfall Part 1's intro and then watch Halloween Apocalypses, you'll notice it and you'll go, oh yeah, this episode's slightly different. I want that version on Spotify.
So full of
it's not
fun
different enough to
facts.
warrant it, I feel like, but it'll be on there. Because on the Series 11 and 12 soundtracks, there's been opening and closing titles. So they'll do it for Flux. But I want them... Why haven't they put the Flux soundtrack up, man? The soundtrack to Flux was delicious.
Is the Series 10 one out yet? Is the Series 10 one out?
I think we've all lost hope on that. Murray Gold was like, oh, we're getting close to releasing it, and then he deleted Twitter. So, like...
Because of it. He was like, screw this. I can't do it.
It was a prank. It was like, it's coming out soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later.
Oh, Series 10,
right.
man.
He'll come back for Series 14. Don't worry about it.
Where is Series 10's soundtrack, man? What happened to it?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's lost
crazy.
in the ether.
So we now have a bit more information. We know the Centenary is hopefully going to be 90 minutes and releasing in October, and Ncuti Gatwa will be the 14th Doctor in 2023 for the 6th anniversary and hopefully episodes prior or surrounding it. There's a lot of news for 1 week. Enough to, as you can see, warrant us pushing back our plans because we spent nearly 50 minutes talking about it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, my good friend Crispy, what final thoughts do you have on all of our news stage? Do you have anything to...
Well, look, I've expressed a lot of my thoughts, but I've just been going through some of my most recent comments on my recent video, and a lot of them...
He couldn't just let me plug his own stuff, could he?
No, I'm just saying the reaction is very much... Like, I'm going to say 80% positive, overwhelmingly positive. Like, I've got a comment.
I'm really glad that there's not as much of the hatred as I was kind of unfortunately expecting there to be.
I know.
I was thinking there would be a lot more hatred.
I've got someone here saying, I'm so excited, been a fan since 1963, which is nice to see, which is very, very nice to see. But then, we've got one here being like, that's a new low. First Jodie, now this. Goodbye, Dr. Diversity, ruined the series. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even. Let's not go there. I know. It was like Dr. Box Ticket. I mean, who? And I was like, oh, shut up.
It's all ridiculous. Look, guys, I just feel like it's the same thing we've done with Jodie. Don't judge a book by its cover. We don't even know what this Doctor is going to be yet. But from everything that Troy and I have seen, for goodness sake, just give Ncuti a chance. This is a big opportunity for him. I think he deserves all the support we can possibly give him. But that's just my 2 cents. That is just my 2 cents.
Agreed. Absolutely. I think Russell knows what he's doing. He cast 2 fantastic actors to play the Doctor. He wrote some of the series' most brilliant stories. He would not come back to Doctor Who unless he had some ideas to carry it. And he literally said, in fact, one thing we missed out during when we were talking about Ncuti, I don't know whether you actually heard this, but during an interview he said that they had already pretty much decided who the next Doctor was going to be in the auditions. They had one person that was like, we think we know who this is going to be.
Ollie
and
Alexander.
then Ncuti walked in. He was the final option. He was the final audition. He auditioned and Russell went, oh no, this is him. This is the 14th Doctor.
This is the Doctor.
So the question arises, and this could be something we should have said at the start really to get comments, but if you are still listening to this episode, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Comment on
Love
YouTube, or hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. We're posting more on Instagram. I'm trying to post more on there. The Meet the Host posts hopefully going up this week. One of them might have already been up by the time this episode goes up. But let us know, who do you think is the actor that Russell T Davies was going to make 14 until Ncuti walked in? And the best part about that is the 14th Doctor conversation reincarnated, and it can continue forever because we'll probably never know the answer.
We'll never know unless I
know
fly
the
to the
answer.
UK and we'll figure out who it is. Who do you think it is?
I know the answer.
Who is it?
No, I don't think I know. I know who it is.
Okay.
You know who it is. Lydia West.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say James Corden. I was getting very excited.
Never, no. I would never get excited about James Corden, bro. That's just you. That's just you.
Oh.
But I will say one thing. Lydia West needs to be the companion.
Oh, there's been some absolute fan casting.
Happen.
People want her to be the Master, I saw on Twitter today.
She'd be interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people interestingly enough campaigning for Sasha to stay on.
Yeah, I love that too.
That.
Because, as you and I have discussed, he's the Master with the shortest runtime out of all of the current era Masters. So But, I mean, boys doing Big Finish. So.
And also, someone on Twitter pointed something out that I kind of understood a little bit, already, but it's interesting to see how far it goes back. They cast John Sim to play the Master, who was a relatively, younger actor at that point in time. Who's now then after that they cast a relatively young Doctor, Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Then they made the Master a woman in Missy. Not long after, the Doctor became a woman.
Okay.
Then the Master actor was portrayed by a person of colour.
Okay.
And now, the next Doctor is a person of colour. There's an interesting Master-Doctor pattern here. It's almost like they're kind of paving the way and making you see...
thought about that.
And I love the John Sim, Matt Smith one is more of a stretch, I'll be fair. But like that, it's one thing that Capaldi said during like his like kind of closing press tours for Twice Upon a Time and stuff, that, you know, Stephen paved the way and made it more like kind of known that a Time Lord could be a woman.
Yeah, 100%.
By making Missy a main character. Same as, you know, anyone who argues, very falsely, the Doctor couldn't be a person of colour. I mean, have you seen Sacha Dhawan's Master?
And how brilliant he is? Come on, guys.
You don't need to even answer the question. It doesn't need an answer. But if you ever needed a proof, which you shouldn't, look at Sacha Dhawan and then try and tell me that that's a valid point. It isn't. You're an idiot. Never say that. You know, don't ever say that. It's just such a it's interesting to see how that's kind of gone back and forth like that. And I wonder if they pick a master, will they be region locked? Will we go for another like Scottish?
I don't know.
Like, is Ncuti going to have a Scottish accent? He's the 4th Scottish Doctor now.
I don't know.
I wonder
well,
if
it depends.
What accent will he go for?
You know, David Tennant famously did his English accent. Like that was a choice. That was a choice made. So I don't know. He could do an Australian accent for all we know. G'day, mate. Get to the TARDIS. Come on.
But he could do.
Come on.
So
put some Dalek
on the
Barbie.
That's probably a good point to stop. But I will wrap it up with a nice little story that continues to reinforce just how Doctor Who appeals to all of the age groups.
Yes, please.
My mum spent a couple hours this weekend visiting an old friend from work, and I kind of knew the guy, so I was like, you know what, I'll come along. I'll have a chat. I'll have a nice time. And he had a couple of family friends that were with him at the same time, so it was all of us having a nice little conversation. And Doctor Who came up in the conversation. I can't quite remember how. Oh yeah, we were talking about like, it was like, what does Troy get up to? And I was like, oh, I've got a few podcasts and stuff like that. And I mentioned the Doctor Who one.
Nice.
And one of the people who was there, this lady who I don't know her age, bless. I'm going to guess she was in her 60s. I think she was roughly about mid 60s. It might be. Hopefully, I'm not overestimating because I'll feel really bad. And she was going on saying, oh, I love Doctor Who. And she's talking about how much she loved watching the show and how she's been watching it like all the way through. She's loved Jodie's stuff. And she was talking to me about Sea Devils and being like, you know, I think it was good, but I just think it was, you know, it was a bit too short. There wasn't too much. Like, she was properly invested in it.
Wow.
Like the same way that we felt about Sea Devils. And I was like saying to her, who do you think's going to be the 14th Doctor? And we were talking about all of that. Like, I always love how Doctor Who has that wide range of appeal.
Yeah.
You say that it's a show that's aimed at kids a lot of the time, true, but it has that universal age appeal that
it's
not
so
a lot
much
of shows
bigger than
do.
all of us. Yeah.
It is so much bigger than all of us. I think it's a beautiful way to wrap this up as we talk about like the next era of Doctor Who, that it will appeal to so many unique people.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've said to you before, we literally have listeners from between 0 to 17 age bracket to 60 plus. There's not many up at that age bracket, but there are some of them. And I love that even with our podcast, there's a wide range of listeners, just like Doctor Who has a wide range of fans of different ages. I think that's beautiful.
Oh, I love this show. It's too damn good.
I love this show.
Welcome, Ncuti. Welcome to the world of Doctor Who. Yeah.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
That was good.
That was good.
That was excellent.
Good. But I think that's probably a good point to wrap up. Do you not, Crispy? A little bit earlier than usual. Good. But I think that's a good point. Yeah, you know, like we don't need to waffle. I know I do a lot of that, but you know, we do a considerate, right. You know, a smart level of waffle.
Smart level of waffle is good.
Huge.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree.
Beans are evil. Bad beans.
Bad beans.
Waffles.
Waffles.
Yeah, bad beans. Yeah. There you go. So we're going to wrap this episode. I'm going to keep that in the episode because that was a nice little. I don't know what that was. I'm turning into Jar Jar Binks again or something. But thank you very much for listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with our very first interview episode where we are talking to. What's his job role? I've got to get this right. I know he works for Big Finish, and I don't know what his actual title is. So, like for his job role. He is. Oh, his bio says he just makes audios with Big Finish. That doesn't help. That doesn't help me. He's an assistant producer. I know on the upcoming. Yes, so much more.
So much more.
He does. He's going to be assistant producing the Ruth Doctor, Fugitive Doctor audio drama series, which is brilliant. He's a well-renowned Doctor Who cosplayer, and he also is playing the Doctor currently in the DW 2012 fan film series, also known with his incarnation being the Purple Doctor. We're going to be chatting to Dominic G. Martin next week.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be a really good time. If you don't know who he is, he's also a YouTuber by the name of Who Chaser. He's around in the Doctor Who community in one way or another. He's an absolutely lovely human being. I met him very briefly at London Comic Con Spring in February. He is the purest soul. He is such a lovely guy and a really good point to jump on, because the thing I love about like this podcast obviously is we talk about all different aspects of Doctor Who, and you already knew about the fan film stuff a little bit, but I've just
been
recently
following
come
that
across
for
it.
years.
And the effort that goes into it, if you haven't checked it out, it's well worth looking at before the episode comes along.
Yeah,
the
100%.
channel is just called DW 2012, all one kind of word in inverted commas. Go and look it up. They've recently released Series 5, Episode 1 of the fan film series with the Purple Doctor. It was
It's
like
so good.
a re-release almost.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
pretty much,
remaster with
yeah.
added stuff. And it's his first episode playing the Doctor. And Dominic is fantastic. Or as
so
his
good.
catchphrase would say, he is radical. And he really is. He plays the character so well. He is genuinely brilliant. And I know both of us are really excited to talk to him. It's going to be a really good time.
100%.
And we'll definitely gauge his opinion on his favourite Doctor Who episode. That'll be a nice little bridge into the episode after. We'll probably close with something like that. Like, what's your favourite episode? Give him like 10, 15 minutes to discuss that and see what he says, It'll be a good time.
I have no idea
so look
what it
forward
could
to that
be.
next Saturday. It'll be a good time, It'll be a good time. The 13th episode, the Jodie special.
The Jodie
So we
special.
picked a Jodie episode, This was the Capaldi special,
Yeah.
Hello, Crispy.
Hello, Crispy.
Got to try and get that in every week now,
Chills every
That's
every
part
time.
of the Doctor Who drinking game Mr. TARDIS came up with, He said that every time you do your Capaldi impression, it's a drink, so I hope you're all enjoying getting drunk over there.
Have a little drink,
But
everyone.
yes. So thank you all very much for watching and listening. Remember what we said, if we do get to 500 subscribers, we'll try and do that live stream. We watch an episode of Doctor Who and get drunk. So that'll be a fun time.
Could be
We
fun.
did say that will happen, so get subscribed. Get subscribed. But we will see you all next Saturday with a brand new episode of Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, the show where two YouTubers get together and talk about Doctor Who. Proper rounding out the intro with the outro with the intro there. I like that. I think we'll start doing that. I like that.
That was
It
very
works.
clean. Wow.
So on that note, it is goodbye from Mr. Crispy Pro.
Goodbye, everyone.
And it is goodbye from me. Goodbye. See you all next week. And thanks for listening as always. Allons-y.
Allons-y, baby.